The Ten Commandments of God Part 1. The Ten Commandments were spoken by God and written by His own hand. They are of divine origin and not a human constitution, given to humanity for their instruction and government. Based on the great fundamental principle of love. They are comprehensive and authoritative, covering the duty of humankind to God and to their fellow man. The law of God, the law of love, existed before the creation of humans, or else Adam and Eve could not have sinned. The principles of the law were not changed after their transgression. They were expressed to meet humanity in their fallen condition. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, and mind. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Matthew 22 verses 37 and 39. Therefore, if our first parents had not transgressed the moral law of God, the ceremonial law would never have been instituted. We can explain Christ's atonement only when acknowledge the binding claim of the moral law. He came to mediate between God and humanity, to make us one with God by bringing us into allegiance to His law. The knowledge of God's law, and the plan of salvation were given to Adam and Eve by Christ Himself. All was handed down through successive generations to Noah, Abraham, and Moses, revealing the character of their author. In proclaiming His law on the mountain, Jehovah reveals Himself as a majestic lawgiver. God impressed His people with exhibitions of His power and glory. Not long before, He was also a compassionate guardian and deliverer to them who brought them forth from Egypt, making a way for them through the sea, and overthrowing Pharaoh and his hosts. I am the Lord thy God, who has brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Exodus 20 verse 2. If ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. Exodus 19 verses 5 and 6. As God's great rule of right was presented before them, they realized as never before the offensive character of sin. Nevertheless, they were accustomed in Egypt to material representations of deity. They returned to their old superstitions. The people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. Exodus 32 verse 1. Moses saw the calf, and the dancing, and he cast the tables out of his hands, and broke them beneath the mount. Exodus 32 verse 19. Nevertheless, he promised to plead once more with God for them. Oh, these people have sinned a great sin. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. Exodus 32 verses 31 and 32. Moses received the new set of tables like unto the first. And Moses made haste, and bowed his head toward the earth, and worshipped. Exodus 34 verse 8. I pray thee, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. Exodus 34 verse 9. Before entering the promised land, Moses was directed to repeat to Israel the 10 Commandments spoken from Sinai. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all His commandments, blessed shalt thou be in the city and the field, the fruit of thy body, ground, and cattle, the increase of thy kine, and flocks of thy sheep. Thy basket and store, when thou comest in and goest out. Deuteronomy 28 verses 1 through 6. Those who here acknowledge God as their ruler, by obeying the laws of His government, will be accounted worthy of a place in His family in heaven. Blessed are they that do His commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Revelation 22 verse 14.